Welcome back. We will start with a quick announcement from Anton Angelov, a QA engineer, a blogger, and author of technical and non-technical book for testing.
And a multiple winner of QA of the Year award, multiple time speaker from this stage, etc., etc. You all know he's one of the most influential and contributing persons in this IT community, so please welcome Anton Angelov.
I will be short, so I bring a lot of my books. They're near the t-shirts, so all of the money will go to two causes. As you know, there was a disaster like a few days ago because of the heavy rains. A lot of villages and people are hurt and suffering. Actually, even right now and tomorrow, there will be like events to help them. So most of the money from the books will go to them, and the rest will go to the cause of the conference. So thank you.
Thank you, Anton.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.
And we'll continue with our second speaker, who is coming to our stage for a second time, flying directly from Serbia.
Dr. Dusanka Lecic was involved in many projects with different technologies for more than 6 years of experience. She has also published many scientific papers during this period and was a speaker at many conferences.
She loves to sing, to drink, and to think. Well, she loves the life.
And life loves her. It's no coincidence her name means a soul healer. So please, your warm and big applause for Dusanka Lecic!
Thank you, guys. So, as you heard from the guys, my name is Dusanka Lecic. I am test lead and department manager in Levi9 IT Services, that is outsourcing Dutch company that has own offices in 3 countries, Serbia, Romania, and Ukraine. I'm leading part of the people in my town, about 40 engineers. So they are test developers. It is a special role because we are manually and also automation testers. So, just a sec. Okay, so beside that, yes, I just, but it's on. Okay, yeah, a bit late, but it's okay. So what I do in my company, very small period of working hours, I am dedicated to managing people, but bigger time is technical, and I'm involved in projects. Okay. I'm involved in projects, and today's topic, benefits of contract testing, is actually from my last project, and I think it's pretty much a new topic in the QA world, without many experiences, but there are tools already that are developed. The tool that I worked with was Pact, but also I researched a bit Spring Cloud Contract tool that is also used for contract testing. But let's start from the agenda. In agenda, we have today term of contract testing. What is it actually, contract testing, and why do we use it? Problem with end-to-end integration tests on the top of pyramid, and advantages of contract testing, some examples. You will see what is the consumer and what is the provider side and how we are managing that. And why is this testing so specific? And of course, we have some conclusions in the end and time for questions. I hope it will be the time. Topic is very wide, and I put some basics here, but just if you are interested, documentation for PACT is very good and very good explained how to start, how to set up, how to involve in CI/CD pipelines, how to manage all that. So I think it's very good documentation and very helpful. So contract testing, I would say, yep, this is like methodology, and we need to ensure that two separate systems can communicate together and that they are compatible. For example, two microservices that have some communications. But what is specific for contract testing actually is that we are doing that independently. So each microservice, for example, we are tested it independently from the other side. So we are capturing all interactions, and we are creating something that we call PACT file. Contract file, and of course that file is connected with both sides in contract testing. Also, when we are involving contract testing, except that we need that we can test those microservices independently, that contract file, PACT file, is generated by the code itself. And that is something that is really good here. So we cannot think about that, and it is easy for managing. And on that way, it is always kept up to date and with real state in our microservices. So this is something that I will call schema, that is explaining actually what is going on in contract testing. So we have one side is consumer side, second one is provider side. Consumer side actually is that side that make contract tests, and that is a big role of consumer side in contract testing. Contract is shared between them, and it is in the middle, as we can see. This tool is PACT. So one part of that tool is PACT flow, and other part of the tool, so one more, is PACT broker that will publish that PACT file, but I will mention and explain that a bit later. Second side is provider side, and actually requests in contract need to be replayed against provider API and also verified against consumers' expectations. Why we are involving contract testing at all, and why not end-to-end integration tests? When I was on this project, we had a lot of microservices, a lot of communications. One service that had communication with all other services, very big and complex service. So we started to write end-to-end integration tests to cover everything that we need. And in one time, we figure out as QAs that it has a lot of time for running them, a lot of mistakes that we have with them. They are flaky, and then rewrite again and rewrite, and then this idea about contract testing came from one developer. I can say also his name, Artem Ptushkin, a great guy that helped us in the first moment to manage all this. And then he switched on QA role. So it was really good in a start to learn from him. So what are the problems with end-to-end integration tests? First problem, they are slow. Mostly we are running them serially. So we need from couple of seconds until couple of minutes to run them and to finish them. So definitely bad in some situations if need something to be better. Hard to maintain, yep. We need to invest some time to debug the tests, to see what is failing, what is wrong, and then in the end to see how to resolve that. Also, yes, I mentioned that they can be flaky. That was a case on our side on Everon project. And we must again invest some time to see, is it up to the configuration, or is it up to the test, or some other reason. Also, they are hard to fix because of all these reasons. So debugging, seeking the mistakes in a code or in a configuration, and if it's in the test itself, it is very hard to find it and fix it, and we cannot guarantee that that is a permanently solution. Also, scale badly. I think it's self-explained. And when we found a bugs, that is too late. Usually too late, and we have a lot of costs. Why? Because we need CI pipeline, end-to-end tests don't have any value if we are running them just locally. So usually we have some pipelines, run them, and it's after pushing our code, probably that is sometimes some testing environment, sometimes that is staging environment, also something that is pretty much hard with them. When we have environment, we need to care about all data preparations and all scripts preparations that need to be executed before those tests. So that is also a problem. I don't want to say to exclude them, no. We need to ensure that our some key business transactions are covered by them, and I think they should exist, but in a small number, not in a big number as we did it before. And advantages of contract testing, no, there are no just advantages, of course. There are also drawbacks with contract testing and very difficulties with setup and everything, but I want to talk about why yes. So first of all, we have the ability to develop them on consumer side before the API. I think this is only kind of testing that we can separate two sites that are interact with each other. Also, we have the ability to drive out the requirements for provider first. So we just need to implement exactly and only what we needed in provider side. One good side, but I think most of you probably don't like manual testing and hate to write boring test cases, but with contract testing, we have a well-documented test cases. And I think that is one more great benefit, and those kind of test cases actually shows us how provider is being used. So one more, for example, is to also see which fields we are consuming. So is using the consumer side, and other unused fields we can remove completely. Also, we can add some other fields in provider side without impacting other side. That is something that is pretty much hard with end-to-end integration tests. But in contract tests, it is possible. Also, this consumer side, if we change something on provider side, we can easily see what will be broken on consumer side. In integration tests, that is a bit difficult, and we need to invest some time to see if we change something in one service, what will be affected in second service. And sometimes we have some broken pipelines, failed tests, and we need to fix them and invest more time. So it is one more benefit of contract testing. But if we look this slide that says that integration tests are slow, are hard to maintain, can be flaky, are hard to fix, scale badly, find bugs too late in process. This is everything that is completely opposite in contract testing. So they are very fast because we are running consumer side and we are running separately provider side. They are really fast, they are very easy to maintain because we know exactly what API do we have. We are not guessing anything, we exactly know what is going on one side and what is going on another side. Because of that, it is very easy to fix them if it's something isn't correctly. Also, we are able to find bugs in very early phase of development. So on a developer's machine, we can find the bugs on this way. We cannot expect to wait through pipelines to run them, to finish them. We are checking them on developer's machine. And that is also one advantage of the contact testing. So also some of those tasks I already covered, but those tests are very easy to maintain, easy to debug, and easy to fix. And also about scaling, they scale because each component is tested independently, and that is something that is very important. So this is one very small example. You see on the top that I say example of contract testing, but consumer side. And we also have on the other side, provider side. So what is this consumer side? This consumer side is something that we actually creating a pact is consumer side. So what we have here for the first pact provider rule. So we are using JUnit test, and we need stub, of course. And we, with this annotation, pact provider rule, we are defining the stub. Also, how we are doing the transfer of pact file into stub. That is automatically done by pact libraries, JVM libraries. So, second annotation that is also here important is this pact annotation, and we are defining consumer and provider. And of course, we are defining what is given and what we expect. It is really easy to understand, so we have a method of requests, so we have path, we have given word. That is, you will see the second example, that is very important to be exactly the same on consumer side and on provider side. So if we have dashes, then with dashes. If we have all together, then all together. So it is very important that it should be exactly the same. So we are using here DSL object, as you can see, and in the end, if everything is successful and pact is into the stub transferred, so then we should expect publishing pact. That is only thing that is left. But where is our pact file in the end? Pact file is in build pact folder in our structure in a project. So it is pretty much easily to manage with Gradle file publishing our pact. Here is a small test, just verification that we are fetching the tariff with some UID. It is all project related, so it's a bit strange maybe, because everyone is a company that is for charging electric cars. So they have a software that is doing everything, billing, transactions, charging, so simulating charging also. So because of that is this example like billing, transactions, tariff for transactions. It is very interesting, but it's not a topic for today. Just fetching the tariff and just a small assertion in the end. Is it equal that actually what we expect for tariff ID? On provider side, we have something different. We need to define the state. What are the states? States are all preparations that we have for contract testing from provider side. Sometimes can be very complex. This is a small and very easy example. And if we are in a previous slide just for a second, this given tariff for transactions, you will see that each state also have this value. On this way, we can tell our packed file what is the provider side and what is the consumer side, and packed will recognize it. So on this side, we have two states, and it's annotated with action, state change action, and annotated with state. So we have setup and we have tear down. Tear down just for the cleaning and to have again clean values and to be able to do a new preparation. So in tear down, we are just deleting this particular tariff by ID, and in setup, we are actually creating it, saving into a repo. Also, repo is auto-wired here, and it is tariff repository. So basically, it's everything very easily configured, and you can figure it out. We run out of the time, so I will make some conclusions. So, yeah, this first point is actually some drawbacks for contract testing. It requires many learnings, take time to manage it, to set up it, but for me it was a challenge, and yeah, challenge accepted. So I enjoyed in that project and continue to do the contract testing. Also, on this way, we are preventing breaking changes on production. That is something that I think we all have from time to time, hopefully rarely. It is used for growing project where we have a lot of integrations. For example, as my project was with microservices, and also we are on this way helping communications processes from informal messaging to some standardized processing by reviewing integrations as a code, because a packed file is a code. And I think one thing that is most important, that we need to think about the consequences before we are pushing any code change, and contract testing is something that makes you think about it. So basically, that's it from my side for today, and it's time for questions.
Are there any questions? Don't be shy. You can win T-shirt if you ask the right question.
Okay. I have a question, but I think it's wrong.
Okay. You can ask Dusanka questions at the after party.
Yes.
And today outside in the coming breaks, if you don't have questions now, but now, do you have any questions? There is one.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see if it's right.
Maybe.
Hello, very good presentation. My question is about PACT. How
Okay.
much time you needed to learn about the tool, and based on your experience, can you compare it with different tools, whether it's easier to work with it or not?
Okay, it was harder. I am a fan of learning new tools, but it was harder than any tool before. But I had a help of our colleague, developer, that I mentioned him, Artem, and it was like, okay, we are now doing contract testing, so you are learning and doing it in the same time. So I didn't have like dedicated time for just learning. It was in the middle of the project, so without specific learning, but 1 month to be comfortable with contract testing completely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Was
Thank you.
the question right?
Yes.
You deserve T-shirt, sir. So, other questions? Let's send Dusanka with our biggest and loudest applause possible.
Thank you.
Dusanka Lecic!
Doctor!
Thank you.
I will tell you because of that. Thank you, guys.